I am CA Rohit Kumar Singh, founder of Tax Marvel Consulting Services LLP. Today we are going to discuss on a very important topic on new GST returns. So the government has announced that new GST returns will get introduced in October 2020. So this video will deal with what are the law around new GST returns, what are the process and workflow for filing new GST returns. We'll discuss about RET1, RET2, RET3, that is monthly or quarterly returns, Sahaj, Sugam, and also we'll discuss on annexures, that is ANX1 for outward supply, ANX2 for inward supply. So through this video, I'll give you a glance on pictorial representation on how the new return will get filed. We have also prepared a small comparison between current return scenario and the proposed return scenario and what are the changes that will happen in this. So please like and share this video and also subscribe to our channel. What is proposed in the new return is government has taken a lesson from the learning it had in implementation of your original GSTR 1, 2 and GSTR 3, and the process is more or less similar. The invoice matching will be the criteria or the crux around which the entire return filing will revolve, right? So let us proceed. So what we'll do is we'll first go through the provisions at a glance. I am saying there is no legal provision separately. The GST law does not say detail on your return, but provision means the theory part of the return filing, right? So the new return that is going to get introduced, as of now it is suspended up to or extended up to September 2020. So as of now the plan is that it is getting rolled out in October 2020. But because of this COVID outbreak and delay in receipt of shipment from China, the hardware, I see it getting rolled somewhere around December or at max your April 2021. So the entire this return, the new return what we are talking about is for normal taxpayer, right? Only GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B will get replaced with this new return filing system. So the entire return has three concepts. Your regular RET1, it can be filed monthly or quarterly depending on turnover. Second will be anyone who has only B2C outward supply. It means they don't have any sale to GST registered customer. It means like your I can say walk-in customers who will come and they will not give any GST registration number. Everyone will be your public who does not have GST registration number. If any business is there which only has B2C outward supply, they can opt for filing of Sahaj form, that is RET2, right? In case someone is having B2B and B2C both outward supplies, they can opt for Sugam RET3, right? So there are two things we need to understand very carefully. What is the return type I will choose? Second, what is the frequency of filing? Frequency can be monthly or quarterly. Return type can be RET1, RET2 or RET3. But choosing of RET1, 2, 3 will be based on my existing transaction. What is the kind of transaction I am handling now? Based on that I can choose Sahaj or Sugam or regular. So if I have B2B and B2C, I cannot choose Sahaj because Sahaj is only for B2C transactions, right? Now we'll move. So next is a small snapshot on your new return. So one is your normal return. If the aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year is up to 5 crores, right? The taxpayer can choose quarterly filing of return, right? In normal return, the return filing will not change. The table of return filing will remain same. And if the turnover is more than 5 crores, they will have monthly option. If the turnover is less than 5 crores, they can choose quarterly option, right? The transaction that can be reported will be B2B, B2C, export, supplies to SEZ, deemed export, RCM on inward supplies, imports and supply through e-commerce operator. So if you have these kind of transactions, you cannot choose Sahaj or Sugam. You will choose only normal RET1 return, right? Normal RET1 return. Filing frequency can be monthly or quarterly. Second, Sahaj return. If my turnover is up to 5 crores, I can choose quarterly Sahaj return, that is RET2. RET2. I can have B2C and RCM on means my outward supply, taxable supply is only B2C and I'll pay tax on RCM supplies. Now we'll move on to Sugam return. That is your, if my aggregate turnover is up to 5 crores, I'll choose quarterly registration. In this case, apart from B2C and RCM, I can have B2B supplies also. So GST RET1, RET2, RET3, right? Now what we have done is I have tried to prepare a comparison based on current return format which is there today and proposed new return type. So today 3 returns are planned: GSTR1, GSTR2, GSTR3. As of now, people are filing only 2 returns. It can be monthly or quarterly. 3B is always monthly. GSTR1 can be quarterly or monthly based on turnover. The new regime is saying 1 return per month or even per quarter. But if I am filing quarterly return, the payment has to be made monthly only. So we'll see that part also. So return frequency today, if my turnover is more than 5 crores, I'll file GSTR. I'll file monthly return. Proposed regime it is 1.5 crores. We'll see about it. Form type today we are filing 1 in 3B. Proposed regime it will be monthly, quarterly, RET1 or Sahaj or Sugam, RET2 or RET3. ANX1, ANX2 will come to it next when we'll discuss the monthly return, that RET1. So there is no ANX1, ANX2 in Sahaj and Sugam. Next friends, due date. So as of now, GSTR1 there is a common due date, 11th of the next month if it is monthly, and quarterly last day of the next month, right? Recently government has announced staggered filing of GSTR 3B based on turnover above 5 crores or below 5 crores. Above 5 crores due date is 20th of the next month. Below 5 crores they have divided states into 2 categories: category 1, category 2. Category 1 20th plus 2 days, category 2 20th plus 4 days, that we all know. But in the new regime again this staggered filing will be possible. Now friends, understand why the staggered filing is there. I'll take a small example. I have 4 cups for drinking tea and I have to serve 20 person. So each and every person has to wait for their turn to drink tea. You will get the PPT, you will get the entire PPT, right? You will get the entire PPT for this. Don't worry, I have already mailed to the institute, they will mail it to you, right? So I have 4 cups only, so all the 20 will have to wait. Each time I can serve only 4. So what I have done is I have given token number to all the 20 and I have given a time that morning this 4 will come, 9 AM this 4 will come, and I have given a time so that nobody is waiting and I am also serving them in a better way. Same is happening with GSTN portal. So there are around 1 crore registered taxpayers who file returns. But the GST portal load is fixed. They cannot take a load beyond given number of returns per minute. So what they have done is, to overcome this load factor, they have divided the returns into various dates. Like if my GSTR 3B turnover is over 5 crores, I'll file by 20th. If it is below 5 crores, I have category 1 states, I'll file on 22nd or on or before 22nd. And third is on or before 24th. And we all know that there is a tendency that if I have my last day, I'll file only on last day. Because even GSTR 3B I have to pay tax. So anyone will try to protect their cash flow and pay tax on the last day only. Right. Second, in the existing return there is no annexure system. So whatever you file in the main return only. In the proposed regime there will be annexure ANX1 and ANX2 for filing your returns. Right. Nil return facility, recently July 20 they have announced nil return can be filed through SMS, GSTR 1 and 3B. Portal also you can file nil return directly. Proposed regime, there is a possibility that the same facility will continue. Nil filing can be done through SMS. Payment of tax, currently through 3B we are paying tax. In the new return, monthly tax payment will be there. Even for quarterly filers, payment of tax will be monthly. Then computation of threshold for deciding the turnover, monthly or quarterly, same for both. Previous year turnover you have to consider. Now amendment, friends. What happens is, currently if I am filing a return, it becomes final. You cannot go back and change your return. We have to wait for the next return to make any amendment. Then the problem is, I have to pay tax for 30 days. I have to pay tax for 30 days because I cannot file my GSTR 3B before the expiry of the current month. So I have to wait for next period. So I'll add the current month liability in the next return. But in proposed regime, I can make 2 amendments. So I can amend and file an amendment return in the proposed regime. Currently, in the current regime, I can have any number of amendment in my filing of return. So what I can do is, any transaction for previous month I can report in next month, subsequent, any subsequent month I can report. But in proposed regime, in any return, the amendment will be allowed only 2 times. I can amend 2 times only. Similar is the provision in your pre-GST regime in Maharashtra return, that any return can be amended only twice, not more than that. So what government is trying to do is, they are trying to fix up a time limit for making amendment. Next, option to change frequency. So if I have selected monthly, now can I choose quarterly? Or if I have selected quarterly, can I come back to monthly? So in the current regime, annually I can choose only once. So once you go for filing of April return, system will ask you, do you want to choose monthly or quarterly? If I choose monthly or quarterly, system will not let me change the option. But in the proposed regime, once in first quarter again, this option will be there. So more or less there is no change at all. Once I choose, I cannot change the option. ITC availment. In the existing regime, whatever input tax credit I am taking on self-declaration basis. There is no cross-checking of my ITC. So if I want to take 1 crore ITC, even if I have input in the books of 1 lakh rupees, system will not stop me. But in the proposed regime, ITC will be based on auto-populated invoices plus certain limit of missing invoices I can add. So ITC will be restricted to auto-populated invoices only. Availing of ITC on auto-populated invoices. Today I can only see GSTR 2A, I cannot take any action. But in proposed regime, I can lock those invoices. Lock means I can lock and confirm that yes, I want ITC on these invoices, these invoices. Of course, there will be offline utility for multiple invoices. There can be scenario that my purchase is 10,000 invoices per month. I cannot go and lock each and every invoice. So there, the utility will be there. In the utility, I can upload the invoices and lock and choose to avail or not to avail the ITC. Next, facility of reporting missing credit. As of now, there is no facility to report missing credit, right? It is on provisional basis. Whatever credit I am reporting, I am taking the input. But in the proposed regime, I have a facility to report missing credit. Missing credit means invoices not uploaded by supplier. So if the invoices are not uploaded by supplier, I can claim on my own in the proposed regime. But today what I am doing is, I am just reporting a figure in GSTR 3B. Deadline for reporting these missing invoices. As of now, I can avail missing credit before filing of return for September or filing of annual return for that financial year, earlier of the 2. In the proposed regime, only up to 2 tax period I can claim input credit. So it is fundamental and important that supplier uploads the credit on time or upload the invoices on time. Unlocking of locked invoices. So again, I'll explain it to you what is unlocking and locking. As of now, in the current regime, there is no facility of locking and unlocking. But in the proposed regime, only the recipient can unlock the reversal. So I'll explain it to you what is locking and unlocking when we'll come to that part. In case of export, shipping bill details, the refund is processed after the validation of custom. But in the proposed regime, the ICGate portal will be integrated with the GSTN portal and the validation can be done on a real-time basis. So again, this is a proposal. We'll see on the actual implementation what will happen and how the integration is to be done. HSN reporting for goods, as of now, in the current regime, it is based on turnover, right? Up to 1.5 crores. I am not obliged to report HSN. From 1.5 to 5 crores, 2 level HSN reporting or 2 digit, and above 5 crores, it is 4 digit only. But in new regime, 4 digit HSN level is mandatory for everyone. Outward supply, I am saying. Flow of data into ICGate portal. ICGate portal, when I am saying, that's a custom portal. So as of now, there is no integration, but in the proposed regime, the government is trying to integrate. And I suppose yesterday only, CBDT and CBIC has signed a memorandum of understanding for sharing of information. So it is nothing but similar kind of transaction where whatever I report in the GSTN portal or ICGate portal for import or export, same will automatically flow into your GSTN portal. Negative liability. I cannot report any negative liability in GSTR 3B. GSTR 1 I can have net of debit note, credit note, negative figure, but GSTR 3B is used for payment of tax. So as of now, the negative figure cannot be reported in GSTR 3B. But in your proposed regime, if I have reported a positive figure in my main return and in the amendment return, if I have reported a negative figure and the negative figure net of positive is more, then the negative balance will get carried forward in the next tax period, right? So while I filed my regular monthly return, my liability was 1000 rupees, and then I filed an amendment return where the credit note of 1200 rupees I have reported, or amendment of 1200 rupees I have reported. So I have a negative liability of 200 rupees which can be carried forward in the next return. Profile based return, as of now GSTR 3B is only profile based return. So once you file 3B, you select yes, no, and the return will get filed. In the coming proposed return system, monthly, quarterly return, even Sahaj and Sugam will have profile based. So question, the system will ask you question. Do you have this figure to report this month? This table to report this month? You will say yes, no. System will give you a table based on your selection of your yes and no. Late fee beyond due date. So as of now, in the current regime, there is a uniform late fee, 50 rupees each day in CGST and HGST up to 10,000 rupees, and for nil filing it is 20 rupees each day up to 10,000 rupees. But in the proposed regime, if your liability exceeds 10%, difference in liability means your actual liability is 100 rupees, but in the return you reported 80 only. So 20% there is a difference in your liability. In case any difference in reported liability and actual liability, the variation is more than 10%, there will be higher penalty or late fees. Why? Government is deterring everyone to report a lower liability and then reporting a higher liability later on, right? So one control will be your interest, second control will be higher late fee. We'll see how all these things will be handled. We'll see in the actual basis. Maybe there will be some things which may not even get approved, or the system may not get developed also. Then controlling on passing of bogus ITC. So as of now, in the current system, there is no mechanism of such control. What happens is, whatever department finds out, circular trading, bogus invoicing and all, they take action at their end. But in the new return, what will happen is, if I take a new registration, I'll be only given a limit for uploading of sales without payment of tax. So if I have taken a registration the current month, government will say up to 5 lakh of your liability you can upload invoices. Beyond 5 lakh, either you deposit advance tax and then do transaction. So today I have just taken a registration and I have reported a turnover of 100 crores. Generally it will not happen unless until I am a large corporate where the special purpose vehicle is formed. All those things will be dealt in the proposed regime, and we'll see the modalities and the actual implementation will be seen when the form and your returns format are given. One more thing, friends, you can go on to GSTN portal and there is a new return trials button, so you can still practically see the new return filing and trial and all you can see, right? So next, friends, if you'll see, for large taxpayer, due date is 10th after the month end. Small taxpayer, it is 25th. Again, we'll see. We don't know the actual due date and all, so we'll see how this is about your flow of new return, right? So ANX1 is your GSTR1, ANX2 is your GSTR2A, and RET1 is nothing but your main return, right? So ANX1 means I will report my outward supply only. I will not report my inward. So I am a seller. I'll keep on reporting or uploading my outward invoices. I can upload liability up to 17th of the next month. Then what will happen is, similar way, supplier is also reporting the sales, which is becoming my purchase. So the credit will get populated in ANX2. Credit will get populated in ANX2. So based on my liability and credit reported by supplier, I'll file RET1. I'll file RET1. So I'll make manual adjustment. Manual adjustment, like I can upload missing invoices, not reported by supplier, increase my ITC and all. That manual adjustment, and file the return by 20th of the next month. So again, don't get confused on 25th, 20th and all. Actual filing will be notified later on, but as of now, for the understanding sake, I am saying first ANX1 I will upload, ANX2 supplier is uploading their sales, which is becoming my purchase, and RET1 I'll file, right? RET1 can be quarterly or monthly. We'll see later on, and we'll see in the subsequent slides. Now friends, you see here what is the process flow. So any taxpayer, they will upload annexure of outward supply, right? Continuous upload. You can upload any day, any time. So between 11th of the previous month. So if I am uploading transaction for April, I'll start from 11th of April to 10th of May, right? Inward supply will be uploaded by supplier. What I can do is I can lock or reject or keep pending. Lock means accepting the credit. So what I'll do is, I have 10 purchases, supplier has reported 11 purchases. So I said, okay, one extra purchase is there. So 10 invoices I lock means accept. One invoice I can keep it pending or reject. Reject means this is not my purchase, so they have uploaded, I don't want to accept the ITC, so I'll reject the invoices. Or I'll say, okay, let me check, it is not booked in my purchase, the invoice is not physically received to me, but supplier has sold it, so I'll keep it pending. I'll keep it pending. Next, then I'll file my monthly return. So based on my annexure of outward supply, my liability will get crystallized. I'll take the input credit based on my inward supply. Balance I'll pay tax. Right? So after the outward and inward supply data uploaded and accepted, monthly return will get auto populated. So system will populate your monthly return. What I can do is, now what happens is, 2 invoices supplier did not upload. So I can add those 2 invoices. So after the monthly return is automatically prepared, I can add missing invoices by the supplier, right? And then I'll pay tax and file the return. Payment of tax is similar to GSTR3B. Chalana I'll create and I'll pay tax. This is the process flow of your filing of new return, your regular monthly return or quarterly return. Now come to quarterly return. So a small taxpayer whose turnover is less than 5 crores, they will opt for option of monthly or quarterly. They will, option 1 is monthly return, right? So even if my turnover is below 5 crores, I can choose for monthly return, right? So I'll follow monthly process which is there in the previous slide. I'll follow the same process. Outward, take the credit of inward, add missing invoices, file my monthly return, pay tax, right? Next, option 2, I can choose quarterly return. In the quarterly return, I'll upload my liability on monthly basis and pay self-assessed tax. I'll pay self-assessed tax, but I'll not file any return. I'll only pay tax on the monthly basis. So payment of tax even for quarterly is on monthly basis. Government is saying you keep on paying tax. I don't want to wait for 3 months for collecting the tax, right? And then for quarterly I have 3 options. I can either select Sahaj or select Sugam or select normal quarterly return, that is RET1, normal quarterly return, right? So if I select Sahaj, I do not have any monthly return to file. I'll file only quarterly return, right? If I select Sugam, I'll upload the annexure on monthly basis, right? B2B and B2C, and I'll pay tax on quarterly basis by filing Sugam. Quarterly return, I'll upload main return on monthly basis like ANX1. ANX1 means your outward details I'll upload on monthly basis, right? And I'll file quarterly return. Same return will be filed on quarterly basis. Month 1, month 2, month 3 addition will be there, and only DSC filing will be quarterly. So for quarterly return, normal compliance will not change. It is similar to your monthly filing. Only submission will be quarterly. Right. Now see here which form you can use. So if you'll see here, friends, your table left hand side is your outward, right hand side is your inward, right? Left hand side you see here RET1, RET2, RET3. RET1 is your monthly or quarterly, RET2 is Sahaj or Sugam. So if I have my B2C supply and debit note, credit note, I can select Sahaj, Sugam or monthly return. If I have my B2B normal sales, so B2C Sahaj, Sugam, monthly, I can select any. B2B if I have, I cannot select Sahaj. I cannot select Sahaj. If I have export, I cannot select Sahaj or Sugam. I have to select your monthly or quarterly RET1. If I have deemed export, same. If I have exempt or nil rated supply, means outward supply exempt or nil rated, I cannot select Sahaj or Sugam. If I have advances, I can select Sahaj, Sugam or monthly also. Now come to inward supply. So inward supply, any inward supply I have, you can select Sahaj, Sugam or monthly or quarterly. Logic being, I cannot control my inward supply. I know my outward business, but I do not know whether I'll receive RCM, or I'll have normal purchase, or I have import, or anything I'll have, right? So based on that, I can select Sahaj, Sugam. So see here, skipping from or selecting one return to other return. Now take a scenario. What will happen is, in any month I only have B2C supply, right? Or any quarter. So I selected your Sahaj return. But after that, one customer has come and he has given GST number. I cannot tell the customer, no, I do not accept because I am filing only Sahaj return. I will not accept. Business is foremost. So based on that, can I move from one return type to second return type? Or I have got an order for export. Can I not fulfill the order for export? And if I have order for export, I cannot select Sahaj or Sugam. In that case, what happens, friends? If I select monthly return, it cannot be changed to quarterly. It cannot be changed to Sahaj or Sugam. So at the beginning of the year, if I select this option, I cannot go to your Sahaj, Sugam or anyone. If I select quarterly option, regular RET1, then I can select Sahaj or Sugam only once in a year. If I have selected Sugam only, like B2B and B2C, I can move to monthly or quarterly, but I cannot again shift back to Sahaj or Sugam. And if I have Sahaj return, I can move to Sugam or quarterly or monthly, any return, because B2C is the least data to be provided. So from least to most you can go, right? But you already, if you have already export and all, you cannot go back to Sahaj and Sugam because you already have export details, right? So this is the flow of your new return filing system, friends. Supplier will have continuous upload of invoice, means I can upload daily 1 invoice, 2 invoice, 5 invoice, 10 invoice, or I can on a single day upload all the invoices. Continuous upload means system will not stop me from uploading invoices. Today also it is same thing. GSTR 1 data I can upload daily, right? Second, inward I can real time I can view my inward. Inward means supplier is reporting their sales, which is becoming my purchase, right? This inward will become my document for ITC, and up to 10th of the next month, whatever supplier has reported, and I have locked those invoices, I will only get the credit of those invoices. Now you will ask, sir, what happens if I forget to lock? There is a logic. Okay, I am very busy in working, I forgot to lock. So once you forget to lock, all the invoices appearing in your annexure will be deemed accepted. It means everything will get accepted. So we'll see those in subsequent slide, right? So based on my outward and supplier inward, my liability will get crystallized and it will get auto populated in the liability of supplier, right? Then after the due date, the supplier can see the status. So supplier filing status will also be seen by me. So after the due date is over, I can see whether supplier has filed or not filed, right? Next friends, what is acceptance, locking, reset, unlock and edit of invoices? So I'll give you one very small example. I have purchased one motor car from a supplier. Invoice number is 1, value is 10 lakh rupees. Scenario 1, supplier has correctly reported invoice number 1, 10 lakh rupees value and 1,80,000 rupees as 18% GST. So scenario number 1, and reported on 2nd of the month. So April I purchased, May he has reported, scenario number 1. Scenario number 2, he has reported on 15th of May in the next month. Okay, 2 scenarios. Third scenario, he has reported 8 lakh only, not 10 lakh rupees. So scenario 1, he has reported on 2nd of May correctly 10 lakh rupees. I will go and accept that invoice, means I am accepting the credit. Okay. If I am accepting before 10th and then I told supplier, oh, no, there is a mistake, I don't understand, there is some small mistake is there. So I can reset, means unlock that invoice. So I can again say, no, I have not accepted it. That can be done before 10th of the next month. So on 2nd of May, I accepted it. On 8th of May, I said, no, I want to reset it. Means I don't want to take any action on that, right? On 8th of May, if I have unlocked the locked invoices, supplier can again make the correction. So one is 2nd of May reported, accepted, no discrepancy. Second of May reported, discrepancy, I changed the lock to unlock on 8th of May, supplier amended it. Third scenario, I accepted after 10th of the month. So what will happen is, if I accepted after 10th, I can claim credit in the next month only, not in the current month. So for this credit, I have to wait for May of the next period. Means June I can take the credit. I cannot take credit in the month of May, right? Reset and unlock. Last table down you see. Reset and unlock. Supplier can amend and edit only if I have not accepted it. So once I accept it, I have to unlock it, then supplier can edit. But once I have accepted it, the editing cannot be done, right? Any issue in understanding, just let me know. No problem. We'll take our time. This is important. Yesterday 9 is fine. We can quickly finish it off, but this is important here, right? Next, mechanism of locking of invoices. Again, see it very carefully. Locking, one manually, second deemed locking. Manually means the recipient, means the buyer, can go into the portal and lock it. Lock it means accept it. Locking means accepting the credit. Second is deemed locking. Deemed locking means if I don't take any action by 10th of the next month, the system will accept that invoice automatically. System will not wait. system will lock automatically. It means then I'll prefer to choose to take the credit or not to take the credit, but all the credit will populate in my return, right? Second, I have kept the invoice pending. So what can be the reasons of keeping it pending? The invoice is dated 31st of the month and I have received the goods physically in the next of the month, subsequent month. So as per GST law, on the receipt of goods only I can take credit. So what I have decided is, for this invoice I'll take credit next month. So I'll keep it pending. Second, there's a discrepancy in the invoice. I have notified the supplier. I don't want to accept it. The supplier will amend the invoice. Right? Third, as of now, I don't want to take the credit. Eligible, it is there. Everything, it is satisfying the condition. But still, as per my view, I don't want to take credit now. I'll take credit. So I can do it. Reject the invoices. Reject means in my inward your portal or the dashboard, I am seeing one invoice for Ferrari purchase, but I have never purchased any Ferrari. So maybe some supplier has wrongly reported my GST number in outward. So it is coming into my inward dashboard. So what I'll do is I'll reject it. Why reject? This is not my purchase. So straight away I'll reject it. What if I don't reject? It will automatically come into my deemed acceptance. It will become, right? Next, amendment of invoice. So locking, I have told you, before 10th I can manually lock. After 10th system will automatically lock it. So one is the invoice locked? Locked means I have accepted the invoice and then I realized, okay, there is a change. So I'll notify supplier. Supplier will issue a debit note on a credit note. So supplier will issue a debit note, credit note, and the invoice will get amended. But if I have not locked, then I'll tell supplier and call the supplier and tell him, you amend this invoice. So what supplier will do? Manually they will amend the invoice in the portal. So once they will amend the invoice in there and ANX1, it will come to me and then I can view the corrected invoice. Adjustment through credit note. What is credit note? Credit note is issued by the supplier in case there is a discrepancy and my input credit is getting reduced, right? So there are two scenarios to it. Scenario 1, supplier has issued a credit note and I have already reduced my input credit. Second, I have not reduced my input credit. So in case the ITC is already availed by the recipient has to reduce the input credit, then only the supplier can reduce the liability. So take an example. Supplier has sold 10 bottles to me, right? Input is 100 rupees. I have already claimed the input. And then supplier is saying you have rejected 2 bottles. So reduce 20 rupees input so that I can reduce my liability, because actual sale is only of 8 bottles. 2 I rejected. So what I said is I have already taken input credit on that 10 bottles. So first I have to reduce input for 2 bottles. Then supplier can reduce the liability. Means supplier can take the benefit of 2 rejected bottles. Second, I said no, I have only taken credit of 8 bottles. I have not taken credit of 2 bottles. I got 8 corrected bottles and I take 2 credit on 8 only. So supplier then can automatically reduce the liability because the recipient has taken input only on 80 rupees. Supplier can reduce 100 rupees liability minus 20, 80 they can do it, right? Next, submission and filing of return. It is more or less similar to current return. Fill and save. Part data can be filled and saved. So you decide to fill one invoice, save it, finish. Come back tomorrow, fill 5 invoices, save it, finish, right? Submission. So annexure can be submitted separately. ANX1, ANX2 can be submitted separately. RET1, RET2, RET3 is different. So annexure is independent and return filing is independent, right? Then return is to be filed, right, will be visible to the recipient in GST ANX2. What is ANX2? The form for taking input credit. So once I submitted my invoice return, then the recipient can see that supplier has filed the return, right? Deemed acceptance means no action, it is accepted. Deemed submission means I have not taken any action on ANX2. ANX2 means my inward on which I am taking ITC, but I am filing RET1. So it means whatever invoices populated by or uploaded by supplier will be accepted. Means if I don't take any action on my annexure 1 and annexure 2 and directly go and file my return, it will take entire input credit based on my upload, right? Next, reporting of missing supplier invoices. Now what happens, friends? It is very important to understand here. Reporting of missing invoices. I purchased 10 bottles through 10 invoices. Each and every invoice has one bottle. But supplier only reported 7 invoices. I have called the supplier. Supplier said, sorry, I forgot to upload. So what I'll do is, I'll upload those 3 invoices on my own. I'll say, okay, I have supplier invoices. I have received the goods. Supplier has confirmed that they will upload. So I'll take the credit on provisional basis. I will report missing invoices of supplier and file my return. Now, there is a catch. Whatever I'll upload, it will be deemed as a provisional credit because it is not supported by invoice uploaded by supplier. And here the most important part is supplier because it is their sales. Now, if the supplier did not upload in T+2, means if it is for April month invoice, they did not report in April, May and June. If they did not upload in June, I uploaded 3 invoices on my own and took the credit on provisional basis. Government will say, boss, reverse the input credit and pay interest because supplier has not uploaded. The entire input credit is based on this supplier uploading the invoice, then you can take credit, right? So present cap of GSTR 2A plus 10% may be, again, I don't know whether what percentage or ratio they will allow. So there will be a cap of reporting missing invoices. So what happens is I have a entire purchase from one supplier and supplier has not reported any invoice or he has reported only 1 invoice instead of 10. I cannot report 9 invoices with a equal value of 9 invoices because system will say your existing credit is 10 rupees. You can only claim 30% of 10 rupees. You cannot claim 90 rupees. Why? System will say, in that case, ask your supplier to upload, right? Automatic claim of ITC we have seen. So, invoices uploaded by supplier by the 10th of subsequent month, I can take credit in the same month. But any invoice reported by supplier after 10th, I can claim credit in the subsequent month only. I cannot claim credit on that same month. Like, take an example. Invoice for April uploaded by supplier on 4th May 2021. I can take the credit in May 2021. But if the supplier has uploaded the same invoice on 11th of May, I'll claim ITC on June 2021. So again, this is important for us to understand. Next, non-compliance by supplier. Now what happens is supplier does not file the return, right? In that case, recipient cannot accept the invoice. It means the recipient cannot take the credit. So if the supplier does not file return for 2 months in case of monthly and 1 quarter in case of quarterly, he is treated as a defaulting supplier. And in case of defaulting supplier, the recipient cannot accept ITC or accept the invoices. Means in the annexure it is uploaded but the return is not filed, right? Same way you see here, missing ITC uploaded by recipient. So I have uploaded as a recipient. Supplier can accept or reject the same. So what happens is, I have uploaded one invoice on my own, which is not actual purchase. Now supplier is saying, okay, this is not my sales to this person, and he has uploaded one invoice as a showing as sales to him by the supplier. Then supplier can reject that invoice. So I cannot claim ITC. Whatever ITC I claimed on provisional basis will be recovered. But when supplier has seen, okay, I forgot to upload one invoice, and recipient has uploaded from his own, I accept that correction, and then there is no discrepancy. In that case, the interest will be recovered from supplier because it was liability of supplier. Supplier did not upload, right? Friends, thank you for watching our video, and we hope that you enjoyed this learning series GST with Tax Marvel. And don't forget to share, like and subscribe our videos, and do also tell your friends or colleagues who want to make their career in GST or want to get updated on GST aspects. Thank you friends. Thank you.